Is this a story about a savior? Savior of what?
The fabric of our star began to fray, and the unchecked energies of creation begat malformed beasts.
Come on, step it up!
The
Phoenix
land
and Paul.
buckled. The cities burned. The waters ran red with blood. Yet this is far from the worst of it. The star was fading. We saw we had to weave its laws anew. Just as prayer gives
Dude,
rise
we will
to
rock you.
clouds, our
We will
dread
rock
will
you.
Manifest how deep it will show you.
Oh, oops. I skipped. Oops.
And you
Oh,
will
naked.
see
Monka
the
TOS,
end
TOS.
of a world.
Monka TOS. Okay, no, we can't show that.
These last few moments are
We can go back to
mine,
old man.
to live
We can watch.
as the
We can watch
man
Yoda.
I
It's
once
okay.
was.
It's
I
like,
am proud of you, child.
oh, there's
You were
timestamps.
wise enough to deduce the
That intro was a
Merry
minute and a half
Christmas.
long.
Or when you watch this later, Happy New Year. Or even Happy Patch 5.2. Today, I want to present you my first comprehensive guide for a healing job, starring our secretly dark messenger, the White Mage. The White Mage is the perfect role model of a healer, having access to spells that will regenerate HP over time, while using big bursts
All three healers can regenerate HP over time.
of healings for a single person with Benediction, or some very flexible and useful OGCDs to get into the game at any time, even when
Scholar has very few OGCDs. It has Tetra, Benny, a size. I think that's it. Yeah.
moving. Since Shadowbringers, the White Mage also received a heavy boost to his personal damage and received many tools to help its realization.
That is
Actually,
somewhat true.
the White Mage seems to lack a single weak spot. His group damage is insane, his mitigation kit has become strong in Shadowbringers, and his effective healing arsenal seeks for competition. Compared to Scholar or Astrologian, the White Mage focuses way more on doing the thing by itself, healing up the group, dealing damage or eradicating heavy tank busters, but without any offensive support to his companions. Gear-wise, the White Mage can be simple or complicated, which
Equipment and
depends
stats.
heavily on your playstyle. So let us start with the simple stuff. Like it is for all the tanks and DPS alike, heading for item level and weapon damage will always be a good choice, but if you want to choose between one 470 piece and
Nice.
the other, things get a bit more complicated.
Nice.
In either case, critical hit is king and will stay as that for the whole Shadowbringers period, as long as Square isn't going to change their values. After that, you have to
Zephyr's guide
decide,
maybe
do
later.
you want to truly focus
I
on
love
healing?
watching bad
POT
videos.
is the
I'm not
safest
gonna lie,
option
this
to
makes me
aim for
happy. I like watching bad
everlasting MP.
videos.
But since MP management is way more dependent on your managing skills,
I mean, this is
and
true,
wise
right? What he
usage
said
of
so far is
cooldowns
pretty
and
much
spells,
true. You want
a high
crit,
piety
you
value
want a
could
safe
be
amount of piety.
oversaturating. My rule of thumb, head for a piety value that you feel comfortable with, and try to find
That's not a rule of thumb, by the way. You can't say the rule of thumb is just to do what you're comfortable
an
on.
MP management that you
A
can
rule of thumb would be like, do enough piety such that you can glare for this long without running out of mana or something. Like an actual, like, guideline. Saying that, like, you just need a piety to comfort doesn't tell you anything.
easily reduce piety from time to time.
Also, why is
because
he...
coming
Wait, is
out
it
with its
piety?
basic value
Is it
while
actually
still having
piety?
MP over the whole
It's
fight
piety, right?
will result in the best choice of secondary stats. The next aspect is even more complicated. Do you really want to focus on damage while healing only on peaks and maybe let your co-healer turn on the
They should
healing
just say, go
spotlights?
fucking use the
Then
balance
Direct Hit
BIS.
could have a very small advantage over your determination.
yeah, I'm not
But
gonna-
actually, that
I'm not
margin
gonna
is so small that
harp
I
over his
cannot
pronunciation.
recommend you
Yeah, I'm
any
not gonna
form
harp
of
over his
Direct Hit
pronunciation.
over determination. Unless you really want to go for FF log
Oh, what the fuck? Only choose direct hit if you want FF logs percentiles?
damage percentiles. Then maybe you could favor it. Okay, spell
you
speed.
want direct
It's
hits
the
so you can do
worst
more damage
offensive
so you can
and
clear.
defensive stat. Even when there may be some reactive speed builds,
Consider spell
generally healers
speed!
don't need much spell speed because they don't have enshrined rotations that require certain GCD soft caps and rely
That's
more
actually true,
on
we
a
don't
priority
require
system.
specific GCD.
Nonetheless, spell
Spell
speed
speed
is
is
still
generally
much
the
better
worst.
than any point of piety if you are able to manage your MP. So definitely try to find that sweet spot of your
I
personal
mean, spell speed's
rotation
okay,
and
right? You want to hit
equipment,
a spell speed
so that
tier.
you can
That's why the
gradually
best
reduce
in slot is
that piety value
2.39.
with each
right?
step of
Spell
knowledge
speed's like
and
okay, it's not like you don't want a lot of
coming
it, but
into your
like,
mindset.
you don't want to stack it, but you end up getting
Therefore,
it, it's okay.
the next section seems to be the most important, of
Uh-oh.
course. I will cover the White Mage specific spells, so if you want some basic healing tips or want to avoid common mistakes, check out my latest
I would not take debt, even if you need a GCD heal a lot. because like the chance that Det saves you a GCD heal to me is like really low. I don't think you want crit for crit healing because that's not reliable. Like in this game, you always want to do the same GCDs every time, and crits are not reliable. The reason you do crit is for damage. And if you get a crit heal that saves you, that's like lucky, but you never can rely on that. I don't know. I don't think I would stack Det for healing. You don't stack anything for healing, like except for Piety. Everything else you just do for damage, and then you just like play around it, I think, a lot of the time.
Video called 3 Misconceptions About Healing.
Isn't
The
that
healer
scaling is
optimization
bad
guide
for damage,
Zerg on the Balance website.
When melding for max DPS for week 1, should you meld crit direct hit? Yeah, you should meld crit direct hit. For week 1, you want to maximize your crit. If your piece is maxed on crit, then you meld direct hit. And then depending on the gear set, you want to meld piety if you don't think there's enough piety. So like last year, the gear naturally had 2,000 piety on it, so there was no reason to meld piety. But let's say, for example, the next tier only has 500 piety on it. Like, just like, theoretically, it's possible, right? That the next tier's gear only has 500 piety on it. You might want to meld piety up to, like, 1,000 or 1,100 piety or 1,200 piety. Whatever to comfort is for you. By, like, around 1,000 is, like, pretty good. You can even go a little higher because you might have the res and prog. And then you've prioritized crit and direct hit after that. So it depends on the gear, but yeah, it's generally crit is better than direct hit, which is better than Det, which is better than spell speed, is like the most blanket statement you can make.
Or the healer optimization video of Momo. To receive some structure in these chaotic days, let me first cover the healing spells, which I will divide into group healing and single target healing.
Wait, so he's just going to describe the spells, right? I don't really want to watch it if he's just going to describe the spells. You know what I'm saying? You should follow the best in slot on the balance, Easy Roka. The balance has like best in slot and like stuff like that. So like for this tier, the best in slot's at 2.39 GCD. That's a mini opener.
Of your role. Nevertheless, there still is some sort of
opener?
mini
Glare?
opener that I won't conceal from you, as nearly each fight.
The first thing he did in the mini opener section was wrong. Look at when his first glare hits the boss. Look at when his first glare hits the boss.
Some sort of mini opener that I won't conceal from you.
You see this? He's 1 second behind. He potted at 2.5 seconds instead of at 3.5 seconds. He already did it wrong.
As nearly each fight starts with a very slow progression and damage coming in a bit delayed, use that opportunity to get in your damaging kit, until you have to adjust again and balance damage and healing. Therefore, use a potion pre-pull if you can afford it, and start casting Glare at 3 or to be safe on 2 seconds of the countdown time.
How is casting Glare at 2 seconds safe? Also, you never want to cast Glare at 3, you want to cast Glare at 2.5. Okay. Casting Glare at 3 is just pulling early.
And a wise move towards the boss for using your Assize during Dire's recast timer and hitting the boss with it. Don't worry, Assize's range is insane. Then, the second OGCD in the Dire recast timer window should optimally be Presence of Mind to start off a spam sequence of Glare afterwards that you should continue with. Do this until the first damaging attack hits your tank, your group, or you have to move on a specific position. And because that varies heavily for each fight, start adjusting now. Here at Eden 3 Savage, for example, we want our first raid damage to be healed, while also protecting the group with Temperance, because the next raid wide damage will hit very late afterwards. Then I keep continuing glass spamming, while trusting on my HOTS and my community.
Okay. There is no reason to Temperance that raid wide, because it's not going to kill you, and you don't need to top, because like he just said, the next raid wide isn't for a long time. So you don't actually need to top very quickly. In fact, you can pretty much not top, and then you can wait for your Assize to top, or your Astral to use Star, or for your Scholar to use Whispering Dawn, or some other stuff.
Communication with the co-healer. That will benedict the first tank buster. Then after the dot runs off and the buster hit the tank, I want to snapshot my Dire into the last seconds of the potion window, and while doing, already journeying forwards to prepare myself for the tidal wave of Leviathan. And that's just one example, to use your role's potential into certain mechanics of an encounter.
Like that movement is correct,
of course,
right? Stuff like that's
with
fine.
Perfect communication, you could also let one healer take the first raid damage, and keep pressing in your own damage.
Temperance on
But
the
it's
first
party
stage is
finder, guys.
extremely
It's always
inefficient.
good to run it some sort of
inefficient.
safely.
Do not recommend doing that with
In
Temperance like,
dungeons,
ever.
things are
Unless
getting
you
a
need it
bit
to
more
live.
complicated, but on the other hand, the power of the White Mage is ultimately
Dungeons.
shown here. While
Dungeons.
walking side by
Yeah, White
side
Mage
with
is
the
very good at
tank,
dungeons, very
address
true.
each target with your Dire spell, because you want to avoid an early enmity attention by using healing spells.
Okay, you want to use Dia on the ads when you're moving. That is true. It is not because of enmity. It's because you have to fucking move and it's your only instant cast attack. So you have no choice but to Dia spam as you're running. Or I guess you could use his lilies if you really want to, or regen or something. It's nothing to do with enmity. Your tank should not be dropping enmity at all.
On your tank. Maybe regen can be thrown in here, but I highly recommend using other tools later on. Dire is strong and useful as long as you could not use Holy on more than 5 targets instead. But until the pack is gathered up completely, Dire is always useful. And if stacking is secured, you need to measure how much your tank can still endure and decide either for Holy if he's in a good mood.
You want
or
a Holy
any
on 3
healing spell.
targets. You can Dia on Holy's a gain on 3. Holy's a gain over Glare on 3. But the thing about Dia is that Dia can be a gain over Holy if you get the full Dia because of how much potency it has. So it totally depends. It like totally depends. Like if you're doing one of those polls that has like 4 mobs, but one of them is way tankier than the others, you should Dia it for sure. Because like it's gonna live towards the end anyway, so you might as well start getting dot ticks immediately, right? It's like very dependent on the poll.
If he isn't. The most
Like
important
you're not gonna Dia 5 targets if all of them have like half health or are about to die, right? Because if you don't get the full Dia, then it's not worth it. It's like very context dependent. He doesn't really say that.
thing here is that you at least throw in one Holy. Even if you are the full safety dude or girl, Holy is your best spell in pack pools, and no healing or mitigating ability can compete against it. I think some White
That's
Mages
true.
are
Holy's
really
extremely
underestimating
good for
that
mitigation.
5-second stun caused by Holy.
Yeah, the
Use
5
it.
seconds on Holy is
There's no
insanely
excuse
good.
in not
This is
doing
definitely
so,
true.
because it opens up so much space for healing, damage, or starting up your ACT for actually seeing that White Mage devastation.
Just start up your
After
ACT in
that,
between Holies. That's
keep
funny.
adjusting. Don't hesitate to also use Benediction on your tank and make use
Yep.
of your precious OGCD heals,
Yes.
while using
Okay,
Lily
that's true.
heals primarily to unlock your Afflatus Misery with 3 Blood Lily stacks. That is one of the heaviest AoE attacks in game.
Yep.
Oh man,
So far, this is
I could
right.
talk an hour or more about the White Mage because of its unyielding potential and endless capability to improve each step, each sequence, and each decision you can make for it.
What?
But of course,
Wait, what does that mean?
if you want to turn
That sentence just meant nothing. That was like a fucking a sentence of nothing. That's like when you need to pad. That's like when you need to pad your essay, and you're saying instead of saying like I can't, you say like I cannot, or it is not possible for me to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Holy crap.
water into wine
What does that mean?
or walk over water, you may be wrong here. But becoming the ultimate personal healing weapon or transform into the Dark Messenger among those screen jobs, the White Mage is the perfect choice. I hope I could provide
That's
a
it?
solid
That's the
White
whole
Mage
guide?
foundation, and surely
I mean, okay, the dungeon part wasn't bad, I guess. Alright, let's watch the tier list though. I'm very scared. Let's watch this tier list. Okay, I skipped most of it because most of it was just him talking about the skills, right? I don't know. Maybe if we get the Astro, or try a different job with a different rotation. Now, if you guys have better videos to watch, suggest them, okay? You guys have better videos to watch, we'll watch them. Alright, 5.35 kilos. I want to see how this goes. Alright,
welcome to another tier list video. And even when this patch hasn't brought with new job changes, this tier list shall primarily serve as
job guides. Most job guides are not video guides. Most job guides are Google documents. If you're looking for raid guides, Miss Tech is really good. What the heck? How to fail healing. Alright, I'll watch that next. Oh, June Bob's also really good, yeah. Hello?
the correction of my 5.3 assumptions, as we have collected tons of data
Yeah,
since
Zeppo's
the
probably a
last
comedy
upload,
video.
which will establish the foundation for this video. But of course, I cannot tell you often enough
There's
that
no
this is only
timestamps.
my personal experience, analysis of collected data, and doesn't matter much as you won't find such a wonderful balancing in any other game. And like always, you can and will clear every endgame content with
my
each
Firefox
job
is
available except Blue Mage. So without further ado, let us start with a big correction from
Holy
last time.
crap.
I'm sorry, not only through finally being able to play God of War, I also tried out my warrior in many dungeons and extreme trials. That I have to say, I was wrong. The 5.3 changes were definitely more impactful than I would have imagined, and the sustainability is from another star. Especially that you're literally able to survive a dungeon on your own now, by not relying onto group mates to be alive, so when they have died to a mechanic, keep on fighting, boy. When looking at those extreme trial chart, it seems to have a very solid mid-range level. Even when top end players from other tanking jobs do take the lead here, it is solid nonetheless. And due to this personal epiphany of defensive opportunities with one of the best oh shit buttons from all tanks, this is a solid A rank. For the Dark Knight, we can really make it short. It is super tanky, super flexible, and the Blackest Knight could be one, if not the best defensive tool in-game. Just that Living Dead ability can be a pain in the ass if your healer is not prepared or just lets you die intentionally. Damage-wise, they're all very equal right now, and you should definitely make this decision according to your own preference.
It's still playing. Oh, I closed the tab and it's still going. Okay, there we go. Holy fuck. Give me a second.
To survive a dungeon on your own now, by not relying. When looking at those extreme trial chart, it seems to have a very solid mid-range level, even when top end players from other tanking jobs do take the lead here.
Why is it so laggy? I don't understand. Do I just need to close more of my tabs? Goodbye tab, goodbye tab, goodbye. What is this? What am I looking at? Genshin, goodbye. Goodbye. Okay.
It is solid nonetheless. And due to this personal epiphany of defensive opportunities with one of the best oh shit buttons from all tanks, this is a solid A rank. For the Dark Knight,
I don't think Warrior has one of the best immunities. I think... I don't know, it's hard to say. I think all the immunities are pretty balanced right now. He's talking about oh shit buttons, right? I think he's specifically talking about Holmgang here. And I think Hollowed is the best immunity, and then the other three are all like okay. I think Hollowed is the best, even though it has the longest cooldown. It's like being able to just like not take any damage at all is extremely strong. It's also why Bolide is really strong actually. Bolide's immunity is really good too. Like as long as your healer is alive to like at least heal you to full, which is not hard by the way. Like you don't even need a Benny. You can literally just drop a regen and a Tetra or someone on something. Or like on them, or like just like a Benefic 2 or something. Usually just regen, Essential Dignity, Excog, etc. is enough, and it makes Bolide really strong. The only problem with Bolide is it doesn't last as long as Hollowed, because Hollowed is 10 seconds, which is insane. That's actually one of the reasons why Living Dead is also really good, is that it's a 10-second immunity that starts only when you die. So it's actually the longest, it's effectively the longest immunity in the game, because it's for 10 seconds and you don't have to time it, because no matter what it'll pop when it pops, right? To like, and so as long as it's like 10 seconds, the window of like, if you take like lethal damage at 0 seconds and you take lethal damage at 9.5 seconds, it will work as long as like you time the Benny after it. Whereas like Hollowed, you have to time it within that 0.5 second leeway window, which is a lot harder. That's part of what makes Living Dead extremely strong. Obviously like it kind of sucks though for Benny. That's why I say all the immunities are good, and I would not say Holmgang's the best. What makes Holmgang good is that it has a really short cooldown. Holmgang is 4 minutes. It used to be 3 minutes, which was insane. But 4-minute cooldown on immunity is really good. And you see that in Shiva when you can Holmgang both double slaps, and no other tank can do that. It can Holmgang both double slaps and the Mornifa at the end. That's really strong. Which makes Holmgang, which is part of what makes Holmgang really good. But like, I generally favor full immunities more, like Hollowed and stuff. Like you can, for example, you can easily Hollow 2 busters in a row in God Kefka, because God Kefka does like 3 busters in a row, and you can Hollow 2 of them, but you can't Holmgang 2 of them because Holmgang's not long enough.
We can really make it short. It is super tanky, super flexible, and the Blackest Knight could be one, if not the best defensive tool in-game.
True.
Just that Living Dead ability can be a pain in the ass if your healer is not prepared or just lets you die intentionally. Damage-wise, they're all very equal right now, and you should definitely make this decision according to your own preference and which playstyle.
They're pretty equal. Gunbreaker's better though.
The same applies to a Paladin. Still a powerhouse of versatility, one of the best off-tanks due to
what I'm really interested in on this is like what is he measuring people onto? Like I'm not sure Like I'm like confused as to like what God, why is all the tabs lagging, dude? I'm like not sure. Hey Momo. I'm not sure like what he's rating content in, you know what I'm saying? Like God, why is my computer's like oh, you know what? It's because Spotify's open in that tab, that's why. That should fix it. I'm not sure like you know what this tier list is for. Is this for dungeons? Is this for extreme trials? Is this for savage? Like, is this for prog or for speed kills? Like, everything is different. So he's just saying overall, how good are they? Like, I don't know. That's like such a weird thing, you know? Oh my god, it's frozen again. Like, how can you judge a job overall? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
Close to you. The same applies to a paladin, still a powerhouse of versatility, one of the best off tanks due to
rating.
sharing mechanics, active healing potential, and is the only one competing against the warrior's self-heal when it comes to make a stand by yourself.
Whoa. He just said that Paladin's the only one who compares against Warrior for self-healing. Which technically is true if you're talking about healing. But if you're talking about like self-mitigation properties that allow your healer to not heal your tank, Paladin is not good at that. Paladin is not good at that. Let's not. Oh boy. Dark Knight would probably be the second best tank at like keeping itself alive without any healer skill. Right? Warrior is definitely the best because of National Flash, but like TBN is just so strong in that aspect, and like you don't want to use Clemency.
And yes, that happens quite frequently in dungeon groups. Damage-wise, it is still right next
He said it happens frequently in dungeon groups. What the heck?
to the Gunbreaker in most situations, and for me personally is one of the easiest to learn its rotation, so definitely an A rank as well. And yeah, I wouldn't dare to put Gunbreaker onto that S rank spot, nor below the others.
All the tanks are just A!
Tools are on the weaker side in direct
I mean, that's
comparison.
fair, right?
But
All
when
the
it
tanks
comes
are
to
good, that's true.
high-end optimization, all that
It's true, all the tanks
effectively
are good,
counts
but
is
like,
damage and
just put the
passive
whole
or
A.
off global damage mitigation, where the Gunbreaker still doesn't run into any disadvantages. So definitely A rank among them. Yes, a very balanced game it is indeed, but notions will change in our next set.
Like, Gunbreaker's damage is insanely good. Like, he doesn't talk about the differences between the four tanks at all, right? Like, the tanks are all, like, somewhat, a little bit unique, right? Like, Paladin's the best off tank, but not a really good main tank, but also has, like, a lot of flexibility in, like, single target raids. Like, Dark Knight has, like, really good self-mitigation with TBN. Warrior's really good, self-healing. Gunbreaker does the most damage. Like, they're all different, right? Like, he doesn't talk about that at all. He's just saying, like, oh, yeah, you just take them into dungeons or some shit. I don't know.
So let us talk about the healing jobs.
Oh, God, okay. He's talking about the healing jobs now.
Scholar still feels less powerful than its competition, maybe on the healing side of things, but when having a solid party
Did you just say Scholar is less powerful at healing?
composition and practice, it will still flow like crazy and can accomplish weaving its whole healing kit without wasting damage potential.
Did you just say you can weave your whole healing kit without wasting damage? Are we talking about Astro? Are we talking about Astro right now? Are we sure this is Scholar? This is literally the problem with Scholar. Why we don't like Scholar is because healing wastes your damage. That's why we don't like Scholar.
The many OGCDs have pros and cons, but even if that hurts me as a former Scholar player, White Mage and Astrologian just feel better in every scenario, and especially when healing is seriously required.
Oh my god. No, Scholar is so good when healing is seriously required. That's where Scholar shines! I feel like Scholar shines when you need a ton of healing. Because of all of its tools with Soil, Indom, Seraph, Fairy skills, etc. I feel like that's where Scholar shines, right? Am I missing something? I'm like rethinking all my knowledge of the healer jobs. Am I wrong? What? I feel like White Mage is the one that... I don't know, all the healers are good at like healing, but if it's not pure power healing or spamming Cure 3, I feel like White Mage is the weakest at that kind of thing. Like, the tools that Scholar and Astro bring are so good. Dude, I'm just like, I don't understand, man.
I don't feel comfortable as Scholar, which of course could easily be the case due to my lack of skill on this job, but nonetheless, until we see some improvements, Scholar will camp the B spot for me personally. Now,
Wait, so it's rank B because he just feels not comfortable playing it? Oh my god, his white mage glamour. Craigasm.
Now again, I have to correct my previous claim and put the white mage back onto the spot where it belongs. Even when the Astrologian can be more optimized and fine-tuned, the white mage feels way more reliable and not RNG dependent, and maxing out your expertise can
So he just said white mage feels not RNG dependent, which it's true, but which healer is? Except cards, I guess? Like, only cards, right? Of all the healers, the only RNG is cards, right? And there's nothing, like, Scholar doesn't have any. And is it RNG if your fairy even uses his fucking skills? I guess so. That's it, right? I don't know.
be accomplished much quicker than in the case of the Astrologian. The Lily system helps you through each situation and also rewards you with the strongest damage spell among all healers. Still, the chart shows that Astrologian and White Mage cannot be put away from each other, so I have to place it on the A spot. Yes, the balancing is insanely good at the moment. Of course, the Astrologian has seen some improvements on the MP department, but as far as I heard from some Astrologian mains, the revamp of the card system has decreased the fine-tuning and maximizing potential quite significantly, letting it fall onto the spot of the White Mage, just due to its...
What? I feel like I just did not understand what he just said. It damaged the fine-tuning? Like, the skill ceiling is lower for sure on Asho because there's less cards, right? I think. But like, does that mean it's bad that they lowered the skill ceiling? Dude, is every job an A-tier job?
power in every aspect. Still, when optimized and under well-organized raid situations, the Astrologian shines perfectly fine, and in combination with the White Mage can form a solid healing team, so pairing it up with White Mage into the A spot.
I feel like Scholar's buffs on the mana front, like, in terms of how strong it is, made it stronger than it was before, except for speed kill situations. I don't know. There is no C tier.
Coming to the more problematic section, the ranged physicals. The Bard has seen some changes in the last patch, but unfortunately they haven't redressed the balance. The only thing that changed according to our chart is the rivalry between Dancer and Bard, which has become more even and balanced than before.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did he say that Bard and Dancer are more balanced than they were before? Did he say that they're balanced with each other? Wait, let's go back and listen to this again.
But unfortunately they haven't redressed the balance. The only thing that changed according to our chart is the rivalry between Dancer and Bard, which has become more even and balanced than before.
Weren't Bard and Dancer not even changed in 5.3? Weren't neither of them changed? Oh, was Bard buffed? Bard was buffed in 1 tier. I don't remember which tier it was. Was it 5.3? Oh, Bard was buffed in 5.3, right? Didn't they buff Refulgent or something?
And the increased dot damage did push the Bard over Dancer in many cases, but they are very close to each other. Unfortunately, they're still left behind all other DPS and sometimes even behind their Machinist companion, so we're forced to give them a B rank.
Okay. Whoa, whoa! For a second, I thought he would go into A rank. Dude, he was hovering over A rank. I was so scared. I was like, oh no, dude, come on, come on. Woo, woo.
The same applies to the Dancer, who is strong in dungeons, loved by all other DPS jobs, and definitely an experience you should have witnessed by yourself. But the same arguments apply here that we had for the Bard. In multi-dot fights like Alexander Ultimate, the Dancer can catch up some ground, especially compared to the Machinist.
Dude, just get rid of this. Please remove the stats. I want to see what's happening behind.
But overall the stats are falling behind melee jobs and casters kinda significantly. But apart from that, a good Dancer can easily push out tons of damage and get the clear like all other jobs. And when they address the ranged physicals damage a bit, the balancing would be perfect. The Machinist...
He put Dancer in B tier? I mean, like, I know Dancer doesn't do as much damage as the other, like, as the other roles. But, like, you have to bring in physical ranged.
works a bit differently, having no damaging support to its allies, but is able to push out very impressive DPS numbers by itself. Especially on not group optimized and fine-tuned fights, the overall Machinist player outperforms the overall player. And especially on...
Wait, what? He said the overall Machinist player outperforms the overall player. What does that mean? The overall player of what? Just the game? Like including tanks and healers? The overall DPS player? Huh? Okay.
Fast target switches, the Machinist is one of the strongest ad killers. And yeah, taking the
So Machinist is good at ads? I guess that's true. It depends how tanky the ads are. Like in E7, Bard is better, right? And like E7 Machinist doesn't do anything on the ads, I think, because it's just single target. But in like something like Shiva electric ads, then Machinist is better, right? So like it kind of depends.
Machinist's damage plus a small margin of damaging support or a larger bit of defensive or utility
Wait, did it just say wait. Did you just say Machinist has damage support? Because it doesn't have any.
target switches, the Machinist is one of the strongest ad killers. And yeah, taking the Machinist's damage plus a small margin of damaging support or a
It's
larger
none.
bit of defensive or utility
As
advantages
tactician.
for the group would construct a perfect balancing for ranged physicals. So this would be my idea to balance the game and bring
Oh, he's saying he wants to balance the game by adding damage support to Machinist, I think.
back the Machinist role membership, creating a ranged physical supporter bracket again.
That's
but
fair.
for now, the Machinist has to remain on the B spot.
They're all these.
Coming to melee
You know, that's fair. If they're that, you know, if you're measuring all the defense against each other, that's fair. That's okay. Like if you're not ordering within the tier, I guess that's fair. That's really funny though.
jobs, which also provide a strong overall balancing. And when starting with the Ninja, it's still a good choice, and in direct comparison to the Dragoon, just a factor of personal preference. Either you
Said Ninja versus Dragoon's personal preference. Isn't Ninja just better? Not that like Dragoon's like that far off as far as I understand, but I think Ninja's just better, isn't it?
like jutsu combinations or jumping abilities. You can choose both however you like them. And apart from that one exception, I would consider them all on the A rank position. Dragoon and Ninja are the prime example for this, and provide a solid raid support with trick attack or battle litany, and still push out solid personal DPS values. In Puppet's Bunker I had many ninjas or dragoons outperform my summoner or black mage performance, so
I don't think you want to admit that in a video. I don't think that's something you want to admit to people when you want them to listen to your opinion. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
everything's possible within that A tier. But there is still one exception in the form of the Samurai. When looking at the Eden's Verse or Trials 2 chart, we can see a leap of power over its melee counterparts, and that depends mostly on this vast RNG range of its Tsubame Geshi and Midara combo. If both of these attacks land a critical hit and also do so multiple times in a single encounter, the damage output can be insane.
I mean, Samurai does a lot of damage, but it's not because of RNG. Although RNG does help, he's right. Like if you crit your Tsubame Gaishi, you crit your Gurren or whatever it's called, like yeah, you're into a lot of damage. But like I don't think that's why it does a
And
lot of
still,
damage.
the overall Samurai player is stronger than most jobs due to the fact that
Yeah.
Samurai is more straightforward to find yourself into than Dragoon or Ninja.
Did you just say Samurai is more straightforward than Dragoon and Ninja? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The fact that Samurai is more straightforward to find yourself into than Dragoon or Ninja. And definitely way more straightforward than to find yourself into the Monk. So
Did you just say Samurai is more straightforward than Monk? I mean, maybe if you include a Natman, I guess. Even though Samurai is the most complicated melee. I really think it is. But like, I don't know. Downtime, like filler combos on Samurai with like downtime depending on the fight is like really fucking. It can be big brain, and then like meanwhile you have like something like Ninja, which is like haha me Rayton, and they just run away and just Rayton, right? Yeah, 70 Samurai is Pepega, definitely true, but like 80 Samurai is like is Galaxy Raid, dude.
placing it on S rank for now. That directly leads me to a brave
Okay, Monk being Samurai being S rank is fair though. Like, if you need to put one job S rank right now, I feel like Samurai being S rank that's a fair placement.
decision that some of you may not like, but like I said, it is my personal experience and feeling about the jobs in 5.3 and 5.35. So here it is. The Monk's battle system just doesn't feel right for me. At least it seems to not follow on a logical circle of rotating things, perfectly line up cooldowns, and kinda logical button hierarchy. That indeed
Wait, did he just say Monk isn't logical? Isn't Monk just 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then you PB and then it's like 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, like switching between Dragon Kick and Boot Shine? Isn't Monk extremely logical? Because you're just alternating boot shine, dragon kick. You're alternating twin strike, true strike, assuming you're not doing the double true rotation. And then it's demolish, snap, snap, demolish, snap, snap, just over and over again. Isn't Monk super logical?
May construct its grace for some players, but I'm really looking for a full rework of this job to feel and flow like all other jobs do in Shadowbringers. And unfortunately, even these charts don't open up space for tremendous Monk players to overcome their direct roll competition, and sometimes they're even closer to our ranged physicals. So please, if you like the Monk's battle system at the moment, don't let my
Monk
ranking
damage is
distract you
closer
at
to
any
physical
point,
range.
which applies
Feels
to all my
bad.
assumptions and rankings here. But until I feel this job, or
I
at
think
least
that's
when
true.
it feels like being part of our Shadowbringers battle system line, I have to put it into the B spot.
Monk in B tier. Not that I disagree necessarily, I just think it's hilarious that Monk sucks. I mean, like, Monk isn't even close to physical range. Look at this graph. Like, maybe it's closer to Dragoon, but like, I don't know. I just think Monk being in B tier is hilarious to me.
Where B is sort of a reminder of jobs that could see some love from the developer team. Please make Tornado Kick and Six-Sided Star useful at all.
Six-sided star is useful. I mean, you don't use it a ton, but it's like a niche skill that has uses every so often, right? Actually, Tornado Kick too. I mean, not that much, but like, so for example, in Eden Prime, you can Tornado Kick before in Fragger Maximus. You can Tornado Kick before it, right? And then you can Enactment back to 4 stacks, right? So it's actually useful there. Stuff like that. It has use. I know people want it to be more useful, but I do think it has niche uses, which are interesting.
Okay, back to the usual business. Starting our caster section with the Red
Alright.
Mage. Things are very simple.
No! He better not put any casters in B tier. Casters are very good.
Damage potential next to melee jobs, plus the best raising potential among all jobs, plus being very straightforward to learn and to optimize. The Red Mage shines in all of its ways, and if someone would ask me for the best beginner job, that decision is always very easy, and the Red Mage my go-to recommendation. And since those 5.2 changes, it can definitely play with the big kids. So due to its raising potential on top of that, one of the strongest jobs in the A rank spot. Okay.
He just said it was really good and they just put it in A rank. Why is it not S rank? I think the thing about Red Mage is, like, I agree with some of the things he said about Red Mage. Like, Red Mage is a really good beginner job. It has a lot of raises. Like Red Mage is super easy to play, like, at a beginner level, right? Which is a very good beginner job. And, like, it does decent damage, even, like, playing it as a beginner. And, like, it has a lot of party utility, right? So I think, like some of the stuff he said is right. Even if it's hard to optimize. Why is it A tier? I don't understand. For me, I feel like I would put it in A tier because its damage isn't, like, insanely incredible like the way Samurai's is. But, like, he didn't say that. He didn't say anything. I don't know why it's A tier instead of S tier.
Hey, these last two are my passion, my hate love, and the jobs I played the most in this.
Wait. Oh, no. So, okay, before, when he was talking about Ninja and Dragoon, he said, okay, sometimes Ninjas and Dragoons outdamage me when I play Black Mage or Summoner. And, you know, I thought that was funny, but I thought to myself, hey, maybe he's not a Samurai, maybe he doesn't main Summoner or Black Mage. Like, maybe he's a secondary Black Mage, he doesn't play it a lot, so he gets out DPS because he doesn't have a lot of gear, he doesn't really know how to play it. But now he just said those two are his loves. Which is very concerning if you get out DPS by a Ninja or Dragoon on your main job as a Black Mage. That's very concerning.
This expansion. So starting with the Summoner. Yes, the 5.3 changes did nerf this job, and I would say it is not broken anymore.
Yep,
But still,
true,
the high
not
lead
broken
in
anymore.
Ultimate Alexander, the multi-dot potential, and the insane amount of movability plus raising potential makes the Summoner one of the best choices for your static raiding group.
Okay, first of all, focusing on something like the multi-dot potential of T is, like, so niche and such a weird thing to pay attention to. It's like, yeah, I really like Bard because you can double dot in the ass phase of UCOP, and it's like, what? It's just, like, it's so random, and, like, yes, I get that, like, it's like 6 minutes of T, but it's just like, that's so not important compared to, like, everything else. It can raise, but it's not nearly as good as, and I feel like Summoner is the worst racer except for maybe Scholar. Because Astro has light speed, White Mage has presence of mind, thin air, and Red Mage has berets, right? And then finally, what else? He says something about damage. Sorry, let's go back.
T plus raising potential makes the Summoner one of the best choices for your static raiding group. And I know, the opener and 2-minute cycle can be threatening, but when you reach the point of a solid practice, this job can easily be taken into any new fight.
I just don't understand what he's judging things on. I feel like this whole tier list is him having preconceptions over what job is good or not, and then he comes up with justifications of different types of content to explain why he thinks it's good or not. Like, if he thinks a job is good, and then it's like, oh, I heard it's good in dungeons, then it's like, okay, that's my justification for saying this job is good. And then, like, it's like, oh, I don't like this job. And then he's like, oh, I heard this job was bad in this one content. And it's like, okay, that's why this job is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's judging it on, like, so many different metrics at the same time, you can pick and choose what metric you want to fit your narrative. That's what it feels like. Like, he's using some 24-mans. He used T for Summoner. Like, I feel like saying the Summoner thing is just, like, because he likes Summoner. So he wants to put it high, so he uses the T thing. And then he uses dungeons for some metrics. Like, I don't understand.
And in my opinion, is still the job where progress rating feels ultimately reliable. Forgot about
okay. Summoner is good in prog, but I think Red Mage is better. But, I mean, you just take both. I don't know.
No problem. Race is here. Oh, that's a lot of movement. No problem. I'm in Firebird trance.
Isn't Summoner the least mobile caster? I mean, like, I know they're all, like, whatever, like, one's mobile, one's not, but I thought Summoner has a lot of problems with movement with Bahamut and especially, like, the Rune 3 spamming, because, like, you need to say, like, Rune 2 is, like, bad and stuff like that. I don't know. Not anymore? Really? Isn't it the same? It depends, right? Like, Red Mage, like, can move, but can't move depending on the mechanic, right? I would not say, like, I would never say that. I feel like with the 3 casters, it depends what kind of movement you're looking for, right? Like, Red Mage is really good for small amounts of movement, but really bad for long strings of movement, right? Yeah, that's exactly lovely. But, like, Black Mage is actually pretty good for long strings of movement because you can just, like, triple cast, then sharp cast, then swift cast or whatever, then double Xeno. You have a lot built up. Summoner, like, can't move at very, very specific points of time with Bahamut and Phoenix. But, like, if you're in Dreadworm Trance, then you can move wherever you want, right? It kind of depends, right? So I would never say that one caster is particularly better at movement than the other two, because I feel like all 3 casters have decent movement options, just in different ways, right? Bahamut is fixed for the first Akmorn, I think. But if you move, you still miss Wormwave. You still miss Wormwave if you move. You still miss Wormwave if you move with Bahamut. The end of Bahamut, you still miss a Wormwave if you do it. So Bahamut isn't completely fixed, and Phoenix is just a pain in the ass.
Anyways, no stance active and still moving. Let us trade Rune 3 against 2, and we're still fine. So in every situation, the Summoner is a powerhouse, not falling far behind Black Mage and Samurai in raw damage potential. And above that, is still a strong choice for dungeons or doing daily content, by requiring next to zero combat build-up. Far from it, flying from A rank mob to A rank mob will even push you into the next powerful part of your 2-minute cycle automatically.
That's such a weird thing to judge a job on. How much do your buffs come back in between A ranks? I don't understand.
I would love to say I'm biased, but ask others, the Summoner is one of the...
You are biased, dude. You're biased. Sorry, man. Summoner is good. Summoner is good. Don't get me wrong, Summoner is a good job. Like, Summoner is legitimately good. My group's gonna run Summoner throughout all prog, probably. It's good. But, like, this guy's just biased, man.
Most versatile DPS jobs in this game, and I guess we won't see that being changed in Shadowbringers. Still a solid S tier job. That takes us to the final job on this list, the Black Mage. I have taken up the adventure to play more Black Mage by myself in the past weeks, mainly to check if the skill requirement to reach solid numbers is really that high. And guess what? Yes, reaching the top score and performing a flawless encounter is next to impossible, and the hardest challenge I had in this game. But even when you're not performing flawlessly, sticking to your basics and having some good crits will still throw you on top of the DPS chart. That means with nearly no perfect execution, I could still pull the numbers of my summoner and even glide through the result a bit, which definitely surprised me. And to be honest, the feeling of, hey, I made these 3 crucial mistakes which did cost me around 1k DPS, is way more satisfying than the idea of, oh damn, I need to avoid using a single Rune 2 spell in that encounter.
So, like, is he judging the job now based on how it makes you feel? Or, like, what?
And that means the reward is way heavier when you're pushing out a perfect rotation. And it may be difficult, but it's satisfying to optimize, because the basic rotation is more simple than most rotations on other jobs. So, due to the fact that the number 1 Black Mage still performs the number 1 DPS in overall rankings, except Ultimate Alexander, this job is still the king of DPS, or at least those magnificent explosions provide the feeling to be. So let's embrace darkness and bury the light for this top ranked ass job.
I do not think Black Mage deserves to go in S rank. To be honest, I really don't.
That I would love to see in the spotlight in the upcoming expansion. I mean, it's a Final Fantasy classic, so why not? Okay, here we are again. Please take all of this with a grain of salt, as I am not a raiding expert and this is...
Black Mage is, I feel like you would put Black Mage in A tier. Like, it's a solid caster. It brings a lot of damage in exchange for not having raise. Like, it's not bad. And it's definitely something you would consider as your 4th DPS. Like, in Prague, right, you run 1 melee, 1 melee, 1 physical range, you'll have your raise caster, and then, like, your 4th DPS could be Black Mage. Like, that's fair. But, like, S rank, man?
Only my point of view, so no solid...
Did he put... He put his 2 favorite jobs in S rank. He put his 2 favorite jobs in S rank. Wow, not biased.
Fancy classic, so why not? Okay, here we are again. Please take all of this with a grain of salt, as I am not a raiding expert and this is only my point of view, so no solid facts or scientific reports are presented. Every job can clear this game, and especially...
He said no facts are presented, but didn't he just present statistics?
The true end game, so make your decisions according to what you like, what you feel, and what job you love. Thank you for watching, thanks to my patrons, and check out my live streams on Twitch. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep loving Final Fantasy.
Okay. Wait, someone said that this video was wrong. I don't remember what it is. God. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this tier list real quick, right? Look at this tier list real quick. If I'm talking about how, like, good, I guess, the jobs are, like, I feel like most of this is decent. Like, I feel like ignoring his reasoning, a lot of these placements are pretty decent, right? Monk down here, I think putting all the physical range together is fine. Samurai up here is fine. Like, putting the tanks together, I think is mostly fine. I don't think Scholar should be down here, but, like, putting these other DPS in A tier, I think is fine. Like, if you're only just doing 3 tiers, like, it's fine. But his reasoning for some of this shit, like, made no fucking sense. Scholar in B tier is, like, this... The whole idea of, like, Scholar not having enough healing tools, just, like... That just threw me for a fucking loop, dude. Do people actually believe that? Like, do I just live in a completely different world from casual players where, like, I don't even realize that casuals think that Scholar, like, doesn't have healing tools for some reason. When like, if you're not caring about the DPS, right? Like, which I don't think he is, it has, like, the most healing tools. I guess, like, Astro also has a lot. I don't know which one I would say is more, but they both have a fuck ton, right? White Mage clearly has the least tools. Since when am I streaming these long hours? I like past few weeks. I'm probably gonna keep streaming these hours. I enjoy it. I woke up at 4 p.m. today, so yeah. People believe Scholar's only. Yeah, some people think that Scholar shields only, whereas, like, Scholar has a very strong. Scholar is very, very strong raw heals. I think, like, between Indom, like the regens and Whispering Dawn, and Soil, Xcog, stuff like that. So read comments. I definitely don't fully agree due to being a machinist / scholar / warrior main. Hey, Ankri. I personally think Scholar can heal very easily, just like White Mage, due to fairy heals, and honestly, MP cost is non-existent if done correctly. True. Also, I feel like people take these types of video as law and think a machinist can't be good. Can't tell you how many times I've outdamaged a samurai or summoner, but of course, because they have higher ceilings, people assume they are better. Great video nonetheless. Dude, let me just criticize the video and then say it's great. Trying to go week 1 next raid tier, you can literally play any healer duo you want. As long as you don't do dupes, right? Any healer duo is fine. Healers are really balanced right now. Talk about Monk. Healing is a team job. I think Scholar gets overlooked quite a lot because people forget that healers work as a team, and Scholar might have as much personal DPS as White Mage, but it saves the other healers from needing to use GCD heals, causing a damage gain from both healers. I mean, that's true if, like, you actually have to heal anything. The problem is, like, you don't actually have to fucking heal anything as Scholar. I know, like, the top Scholar logs, like, basically don't do anything. I mean, that's because Astro handles it all, I guess. We look at it this way. Also, like, I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that using a Lily heal is less of a DPS loss than using, like, an Aetherflow heal. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a bigger DPS loss to sacrifice your energy drain for Indom than it is to just use a Lily heal, right? Because you get 3 Lily heals, like, at the price of 1 Glare, or 3 Indoms at the price of 3 energy drains, which is, like, worse, right? And 3 Rune 2s. So this is, like, not even right. I mean, it depends how you define GCD heal, right? If they're talking about Medica or Cure 3, that's true. But if they're talking about Lily, that's not true, right? A Lily, no, each Lily heal that you use is like a 100 potency loss, I think, because it's Glare's 300, and the three Lilies is a loss of 1 Glare. It's not 75. Wait, is Glare, how much potency is Glare? 300. No, each Lily is 100 potency loss. Because think about 4 GCDs, right? If you can do 4 Glares for 1200 potency, or you can do 3 Lily heals plus a Flatus for 900. So that's 4 GC. I guess, like, you could say that, like, the Misery is the loss. It depends if you're saying that, like, the Misery has a 75 loss also, or if you're saying, like, the Lily heals themselves eat the loss and the Misery is not the loss. It depends how you divide it up. I was thinking about it differently. I see what you mean, though. Scar is the best second heal to bring after Astrology or White Mage. There's a reason it's been in every first clear of every hard content besides Neo X Death. Scholar was not in Shiva. This is just wrong. This is just wrong. Alright. But you should look at Heroes as a team, that's definitely true. You should have a look at Heroes as a team. Yeah, I agree. This person's undervaluing Scholar a lot. Scholar has the highest burst heal with emergency tactics add low recitation. This is just not true. If they're talking about single target heal, right? This is single target heal, right? If they're talking about add low, right? It's single target, right? ET add low is single target. You know what's stronger than this? Benny. What? What? And if you're talking about AoE burst, it depends how long the burst is. But Astro's AoE burst on Star is really strong, and White Mage obviously has the Cure 3. So I don't think Star's burst like as good, like in terms of like the total amount of burst, right? Indom is really strong for timing heals, but like I don't know, it depends. I think Star is just the highest burst heal in general, like ignoring like healing buffs, because like healing buffs depends on your comp and stuff like that, right? But I think Star is the highest single AoE GCD AoE heal. It's like 700 potency or something like that. It's really, really strong. It's like 700 or something. And then, yeah. LB3 is better. That's true. LB3 is better. I guess like Recitation ET Sucker is probably pretty strong because it's a crit sucker. Full heal is really strong. Star is insanely good. I mean, Astro's just really good right now. You play Astro and Scholar, but Emergency Tactics Adlo heals more while being more consistent than Essential Dignity. Oh boy. Yeah, I totally agree, Momo. Like, Indom on a 20-second cooldown and Soil on a 30-second cooldown is absurdly strong. Completely agree. That's definitely one. And like, a lot of their like the identity of Scholar for me is not necessarily like is not necessarily like the shield healer, but it's actually like OGCD, like OGCD healer between Indom, Lustrate, Excog, Soil, stuff like that. I guess Soil's not a heal, but this is just so unfair to compare. ET Adlo heals more than Essential Dignity, sure, but Essential Dignity's free. Essential Dignity's literally just free. Alright, whatever. Scholar needs a damage buff. Isn't Scholar the best healer in some speed kills right now? Scholar doesn't need a damage buff, right? I don't know. It's his own opinion. You can't compare single healer potencies either. You can't compare single healer potencies because you gotta compare comprehensive kits. Like, when you're comparing the healers, you have to compare their kits. Like, you can't just say, like, oh, Asylum is worse than Soil, so White Mage is worse than Scholar. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? You gotta look at their kits as a whole, every time. Think you missed the point on Bard and Dancer. Their personal DPS may not be stellar, but their support is extremely strong and invaluable to most comps. You wouldn't run Dancer if you didn't have to, right? Isn't the only reason you run Dancer because of the 1% buff? Right? I mean, I might be wrong, but I thought Dancer doesn't bring enough damage to justify it alone. Like, if you ignore the 1% buff from having a physical ranged, right? If you didn't have to bring a physical range, I thought you just wouldn't bring one. Like, I might be wrong here. Yeah, triple cast. You would not run triple caster. No, because Embolden's really bad with triple caster. If you didn't have 1%, I feel like, I mean, I'm spitballing here, right? But I feel like you would run Samurai, Ninja, Black Mage, Samurai. Samurai, Ninja, Black Mage, Summoner. Dancer is using speed kills, but that's because you need the 1% from Dancer. The physical range. That's what I thought. Scar's the lowest rate DPS. That's true, but I'm pretty sure Scar is used in speed kills of Ramuh. Am I wrong? Maybe not. I thought Scar was used in something. I don't remember what it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Yep, I guess I'm wrong. Oh well. Oh, second in this fight? I guess that makes sense. I guess I'm also seeing the same group every time. Yeah, I see they're like second place. I don't know. Next video? Anyone got a good video? We can watch the Zepla video. Although I feel like because Zepla's videos are good, it would just be kind of whatever. Oh, misconceptions. Where's that? Where's the healer misconception video? Link me that. I don't actually know what that is. Dude, this guy has so many subs. That's crazy. It's on his channel. Trash has so many subs. We need your help. Misconception. Nope. Gasparius healer. Okay.
Welcome to some sort of prologue to my healer guides that are about to be released in the next days and weeks.
Wait, I want to guess. The 3 healer misconceptions. The first misconception is that you have to focus on healing. I feel like is my first guess. God, what 3? That's hard. What are 3 misconceptions on healer? Like the first one's like that you don't have to do damage on healer. There's gotta be something like that. I feel like there's gotta be one that's like if people wipe, it's your fault. There's gotta be one that's like if people wipe, it's your fault. Oh yeah, and the third one would be like you gotta keep everyone topped at all times. Yeah, those are good guesses.
Therefore, let me cover some basic principles what I held to be the most influencing misconceptions people have about healing. If you want a real in-depth healer optimization guide, check out the one of the Balance website made by Zerg that I will put into the description,
Wait,
or the
that?
comprehensive healer optimization video of Momo. Nevertheless,
Momo!
I think
That's
if you
you!
consider these 3 principles
That's
into
you,
their
Momo!
corrected form, your group will definitely shift into the next step of progress or speed rating, or at least it's not your fault that they don't. Okay, starting with the absolute number 1, the most damaging misconception. My group needs to be on 100% HP
there it is.
all the time.
Good call, Judge.
This is the
Good
leading
call.
mistake among many healers that turn out to be some sort of panicky and constantly fear an imminent calamity that actually will never happen. Final Fantasy
What are we
XIV's
watching?
boss and raid designs are
What's this
completely
upskirt right
scripted,
now?
with some exceptions of course, but the main part can always be predicted if you have the wisdom and clarity to embrace it.
So like I don't understand like his like video style when he says like, because this is supposed to be like an informative video, I guess, and then he says you can predict damage if you have the wisdom and clarity or something. I'm like, what does that mean? Don't you mean like if you just remember the timeline? Like just remember the timeline, man. What is wisdom and clarity? That's just I don't know.
I know many people will start complaining at this point. What the hell, Des? We are healers. Our first priority is to keep the group alive.
Yeah, the name I didn't
With
recognize.
that I agree to 100%, but keeping the group alive does not mean to have the HP of every party member maxed out for the whole time. Work with your healing on time effects, make use of your regions or self-healing potential of DPS or tanks. Don't waste these resources by spamming heals mindlessly. Above that, every healer has a wide arsenal of good and better heal spells. The better ones just have resources or cooldowns that you need to wait for. Take the time to wait for them, it mostly is worth the patience. Let me give you an example. The raid is receiving a heavy raid buster and both healers have stacked some cooldowns and want to use them, so the wise decision would be to just do that, and even if it doesn't cap the HP to 100 but to 70 or 80, the next raid buster or damage may appear not earlier than 20 seconds or so. That means use that time, maybe one of your CD heals could have brought a regen effect with it, or one of the 2 healers is planning to use another CD until then. The White Mage, for example, could use an Afflatus Rapture to proc Lilies for proceeding into his Blood Lily, or the Scholar wants to use his Indomitability anyways, because he needs to spend Etherflow stacks, because his Etherflow is coming off cooldown.
Why would you use Indom if you have... For like, the decision you're making is between Indom and Energy Drain, right? It's not like, oh, I have his Interflow, so I'm just gonna Indom.
Furthermore, these healings could be used in some movement situations where you cannot deal damage anyways. This directly leads to the second
Wait, that dude was totally about to get hit by that mechanic.
situations.
This
where you
role was
cannot deal
totally
damage
about to
anyways.
obliterate him.
This directly leads to the second misconception. I'm a healer, not a dealer. Of course, you are. And of course, the tanks should tank. But receiving and keeping enmity is just one
Wait, we saw this
question
clip
and
already.
one button. To grit or not to grit. The same logic can be applied to healers. What will you do if no damage is coming in? Just stand there, focus and regenerate MP?
Yeah! if PF taught me anything, yeah, just stand there and do nothing.
No way. That would be a waste of time and potential. The automated regeneration of MP is not denied by using some offensive casts, and if you have your group prepared for the next raid buster or mechanic, you are absolutely fine to deal some damage. Don't trap yourself into the idea of, if I keep dealing damage my MP is dying too fast.
Do people actually think that? Wait. Again, this is me being very disconnected from casuals. Do casuals actually think that using DPS skills will like make it so you run out of mana? I mean, like if you died, like, or you use a bunch of reses and then your you know, you have very low mana, then yes, it's true, you shouldn't DPS so you can regen mana if you're like at 1,000 mana or something. But in normal situations, it's not even close to true. Technically, they aren't wrong if the fight goes on for like 30 straight minutes and you're spamming Glare for 30 straight minutes. Yeah, you're gonna run out of mana. Oh boy.
Every of the 3 healers has his tools to regain or save MP, may it be Lucid Dreaming, Thin Air, Ether Flow, or Light Speed.
Oh, that's how you know this video's dated. They said light speed for mana. Feels bad, man. That's how you know this video's old. Oh my god. You had a hero jump off on purpose to get mana back? That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible, Apple, because then you get weakness heals. That sounds stupid. Your weakness heals probably don't even make it worth it anymore. Only if you get healer, it'll be back at full mana. Then I guess it could be worth it.
If you manage to keep these on cooldown when you have already lost 30 to 40% of your MP, you will never run out of magic points.
Okay, so he said that you want to keep your mana tools on cooldown, and I feel like that's like actually a misconception too. Like, okay, right now he's thin air glaring. Like, excuse me. Like, you definitely want to save your thin air for like times when you're gonna cast GCD heals because it saves more mana. Like, you want a light speed on cooldown for sure, and you want an Aether Flow on cooldown for sure, but thin air is more of an exception where you don't want to just like thin air for a bunch of glares, because if you do it for 1 Cure 3, it's already better. I think. I actually don't know the mana cost. 1,500. Yeah, like Cure 3 is like 4 glares, so if you do like Cure 3 plus like something else, like it's already better. Yeah, he's also gonna overcap mana here.
Especially not when using your damaging kit. On the other hand, if you continue to spam your big AoE heals mindlessly, that in fact will reduce your MP to 0.
That's true.
The second aspect.
I guess maybe part of the reason why casuals keep running out of mana is because they just spam Medica 2, and then of course you're gonna run out of mana if you're spamming Medica 2. That's just expensive. It's like 1,000 something, 1,300. It was really, really expensive, right? So at that point, like, it makes sense.
Of this is primarily shown in dungeons. Sometimes attacking is the best defense. For example, if your tank is pulling big packs, trying to heal against their consistent damage can be a real struggle. And any second that will reduce this pain is worth its effort. So use these windows where the tank is using CDs or where you have already pushed his HP up to max to throw in your offensive kit. Especially the White Mage's Holy is the best tool against big
he's not wrong here. This is
Stunning
generally
foes
true.
for 5 seconds is an advantage no healing spell could achieve under any circumstance. In the case of small groups, we deal damage because the
Is it possible to buy Fantasia while playing the free trial of this game? I actually do not know. Someone else might know, but I actually do not know the answer to that. Sorry. Yeah, death is the best CC is a good way of putting it. Like, his first point is the only HP that matters is the last one. His second point here is death is the best CC, right? Or like, I guess like it depends. When we talk about dungeons, that's right. But like, that's how you summarize them.
inflicted loss of HP is so low that you would definitely waste the potential of your role, when you would max out the tank's HP consistently. Therefore, keep your group alive, use your mitigation tools and free yourself some space to deal damage by using OGCDs or cooldown heals with Wisdom and Grace. Okay, so much so simple. But what about cooldown usage in general? Shouldn't I save my Benediction or Seraph or Essential Dignity for emergency situations and heal up tank busters or something similar manually? That is the third and my last misconception for this video. Cooldowns need to be saved.
Is this a real misconception that people have? Oh god, I know nothing. Dude, I know nothing about casual players. Oh man. I mean, I hold Benny too, but like, Benny's like I think Benny's one of the only tools I hold for emergency situations because you don't fucking need it. You don't use it for anything a lot of the time, except for Living Dead. Because you don't have to manually heal anyway. There's nothing you need Benny for, so I just have it. As saving Asylum for emergencies? Oh, tanks holding cooldowns? I know about that one. But I meant healers. I use Benny on cooldown. I don't use Benny on cooldown in Expert Roulette because my tank never drops low enough to use it. It's true. My tank never drops low enough to use Benny. Sad. Because I never do Expert. Whenever I do it with my friends. So we kill everything so fast that I don't even have the Benny. Dude, I know nothing. Holy crap. I know nothing about the casual experience.
No, definitely not. They are called cooldowns, so give their name a meaning and use them so that they can actually cool down. But aren't people consistently telling healers need to adjust, so saving cooldowns is better, right? First, it's a meme from Larry, and secondly,
Healers adjust, it comes from Larry? Wait, that's true? Wait, what? Is that where the meme comes from? Okay, no, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, it is not from that's what I thought. Larry, I like Larry a lot, but I don't think he came up with that meme. That meme has been around for a long time, right? Yeah, he just like was participating in the meme, right? Yeah, that is an old fucking meme, dude. Alright, whatever.
the truth behind it means that healers should always have the perfect answer to each situation, which I would sign up for. You always have to consider and remember that you are a healer team, not the prime healer and off healer.
Oh god, that is a misconception. Yeah, that is a good misconception to address. There is no main healer off healer. People still think that's a thing for some reason.
You are co-healers, so your optimal goal is to make use of the cooldown and utility kit of both
That's
of them.
definitely true.
Therefore, I highly recommend communication. Hey Scholar dude, are you going to heal the prey mark for the party member from top to bottom, or the other way around? Or, White Mage, will you save Benediction for the Dark Knight's Living Dead here?
I feel like he just asked, okay, communication is good, but he just asked the two most basic fucking questions of like, that you shouldn't even need to ask them. Or top or bottom for prey is fine, but this has nothing to do with cooldowns, right? Like, I feel like questions of cooldowns should be like, oh, are you using Indom here? Or like, oh, where are you using Star? Where are you using CO? Like, I'm gonna temperance this, or like thin air. Like, is my group using like Heart of Light here, or Passage of Arms, or Passage of Arms? That's a paladin skill, right? That's like the type of thing you want to talk about when it comes to cooldowns. Whether or not you're gonna use Betty on Living Dead is like, the only time you ever need to communicate anything about that is if you had to use Benny for some emergency situation and you didn't have it to heal Living Dead. Then you have to tell your co-healer, hey, I don't have Benny. We need to heal this guy. That's it.
These can make a big difference and will definitely help your healer team in not wasting cooldowns. One Benediction definitely is enough for healing up a tank buster. That mentioned, if you would save it endlessly and heal it up manually, for which situation would you use it otherwise? If there is the perfect spot of getting in a CD, find it and use it. To describe this with a very nice quote from Zerg's guide, there is no point in worrying that the Earth is going to be spontaneously hit by a massive gamma ray burst from thousands of light years away and planning your whole life around some minute possibility. Don't be the healing equivalent of a doomsday prepper. I totally agree with him. Even if healing could be seen as the heaviest burden a role can carry,
I don't know. I get what he's saying, but there's like a level, like there's a gray area there where I feel like as a healer you should be prepared for some emergency situations, like just in case, especially when I PF. Like sometimes I just know, I'm just like, okay, someone's gonna mess this fucking thing up, so I'm prepared for this. Like I'm saving, for example, I'm like saving my Aether Flow and my Indom. I'm not gonna burn out an energy drain just yet. So like I'm saving this. Oh, here's a really good example. At the end of Shiva phase 1, when it's Sidekick Axe Kick, right? I save my Aether Flow just in case that someone's gonna get hit by the mirror, so I can lustrate them so they don't die to banish, right? So like as a healer, like you make pulls go smoother if you do that, and then if no one gets hit by it, then I'll energy drain. Right? Like as a healer, I feel like that's what you want to do to ensure success in PF. You don't need to like plan for every single possible mistake. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna spread low Seraph just in case someone misses this tower or something like that. But like I don't know, there is definitely a middle ground there of like terms of like preparing for potential mistakes. Like yeah, I don't know.
See it as that. See it as opportunity to really make a difference for your group, to be the strongest pillar they can have. Never fear raid mechanics, and be the mindful master to count them into your battle schemes, and embrace the unyielding potential to lead your group
Why do we
onto
keep
the
watching
next
1.0
level of
cutscenes?
performance.
This is the end of
And
1.0,
if you really
right?
want to
Why do we keep watching
accomplish
this cutscene
that,
over and over
I
again?
highly recommend to check out the guide of Zerg or
I feel like he
Momo's
puts this
healer
video,
optimization video.
like,
And stick
he
around
put
for
this
my
clip in
guides
his, like,
that
all
are
his
stones
videos, or
throw
at least a
away.
few of them that we've seen.
Thank you all for watching. I hope some misconceptions could be clarified and reconfigured with this video.
What's going on?
And if you want more stuff like this and especially want to be notified about my upcoming
playing the
healer
golden
guides,
music. Oh, no, that's
click
part of
on
the
that
cutscene.
sub, like and most of all the notification button. See you around, and until then,
That's
take
fun,
care
bro.
and keep adjusting.
This doesn't even get to 10 minutes, so he can't even get remedy. I don't even know. What is this video? Hey, we can watch one more. I'm not gonna watch Gordon Ramsay videos. I'm not interested. We need one more before I go to sleep. Do I watch more of this guy's videos? Forbidden Glamour, sets and channel. Oh god. The Ultimate Black Mage Guide. Do I want to listen to this guy teach you how to play Black Mage? Wait, I want to read the Scholar Guide. Wait, no. There's no rotations, right? Samurai Guide? Alright, let's go. I want to see this. He thinks Samurai's easy, right?
Welcome
Another
to
guy?
another
Yo, if you guys want someone else, you gotta send me another video, okay?
comprehensive guide with the focus on our beloved edge master, the samurai. The samurai wields a traditional Japanese katana and uses sen and kenki to slash energy-driven blows into his enemies. His combat style feels very tactical, and your main goal is to manage your sen usage and kenki consumption while mainly relying on a vast selection of weapon skills. Since Shadowbringers, the samurai also received quite a solid arsenal of OGCDs that turn him into the king of personal DPS again, at least beneath the melee jobs around. That mentioned, like the Black Mage, the samurai doesn't provide any form of raid support, defensive and offensively.
Third eye though. Third eye though.
That means if you want to be a team player, the samurai may be the wrong choice. But if you want to be the strongest weapon your party can bring in, study the blade as best as you can. Difficulty-wise, I personally think our Asian warrior is one of the most straightforward melee jobs. But still, you need to navigate through multiple positional requirements, so always take some movement and flexibility into consideration.
Wait, did he say that Samurai's... Wait, is this reason that Samurai's easy is because it has little positionals? Oh boy.
When it comes to gearing, there are a million ways to choose appropriate equipment for the samurai. My rule of thumb is to head for weapon damage in the first place, then choose some fitting item level values with heavy crit and direct hit stats on them, followed by determination. That sounds easy, right? Yeah, kinda. But when you want to dive deeply into rotational theory and GCD management, the skill speed tiers are a significant factor that decides important points of your attack sequences.
It's true.
Therefore, my suggestion is to head for the lowest skill speed tier. That makes kinda sense, and
Is
if you
that
don't
the
trust my
2 GCD
idea,
filler?
check out some of the top samurai
this 1
loggers
GCD
who are
filler?
doing the same.
685.
This tier requires a 685 skill speed value, when being precisely, to reach the goal of 28 weapon skill or GCD loop, that only needs one filler GCD, but
Wait, isn't the 1 filler GCD the hardest one? Isn't that the hardest rotation? Isn't the easiest one the 3 filler GCD rotation? Like, this is a guide for beginners, right? I thought the easiest one is the 3 GCD rotation.
more to that later. But of course, you can also choose other skill speed tiers that are presented inside
okay,
the
they
samurai
are talking about
guide
the
on
balance.
the
Maybe this guy
that
does
you
know
should
what
check
he's...
out anyways if you want to take this theory onto the next
Maybe he does
level.
know what he's talking about.
Link will be in the description. Okay,
100,000
coming to
video
the
views.
combat system. Here you could definitely write poems and scrolls of wisdom about perfect GCD management and perfect loops, etc. But that is way too much information for a guide like I'm providing in general. Therefore, let us stick to the basics and let me present you the abilities of the samurai, more likely in the form of a priority list. Of course,
Oh, no.
we will talk
What does
about
that
a
mean?
solid rotational loop as well, but only shortly. Now comes the awkward part, me trying to pronounce Japanese abilities. So sorry for my C rank in Japanese culture and words. Starting with our buffs that are essential to everything that will follow afterwards. Optimally, you will start with Shifu, but before getting access to that ability, use the OGCD Iki Shoten after Hakase to start your combat with a nice Kenki gift. Now you can choose between the Shifu route or Jinpu route. Most of the people head for Shifu first because that weapon speed
Is this like the worst way of explaining things. I'm already confused. And he's been like, and he just said 3 skill names. I feel like this is the worst possible way to convey this information. But I don't know.
And decreased recast timer really makes a big difference for every tag afterwards. What route am I speaking of? My advice for the samurai is to see every sen attack that grants sen coins as a route. The white sen granted through Gecko is the left route, optimally placed left on your hotbar buttons. Yukikase, the middle one, granting the green sen, and Kasha granting the red sen on the right route. These sen points are used for your most heavy and most important attacks, so this is the most important section of the samurai's combat system. So try to stick to a consistent pattern of hotbar management, to never trap yourself in overwriting sen coins or using the wrong follow-up ability. Okay, so much for logical hotbar and sen management. Let us return to a buff Jinpu, being the pendant to Shifu that grants a 13%.
The what? Is that French?
Let us return to a buff Jinpu, being the pendant to Shifu.
I'm a stupid fucking American, so I don't know what that means.
That grants a 13% damage increase.
Speak American, bro.
After you have bolstered your damage with this buff, it is already time for heavy decision making. But first let me cover some other abilities you need for making these decisions. What about Kenki? Yes, Kenki is your secondary resource. Kenki mostly is used for OGCDs that will push additional attacks into the target, like Hisatsu Guren or Sine, for single
We
target
just spent 5
bursts.
minutes talking about tooltips.
That should be used as soon as they are ready, or Hisatsu Shinten, that is your natural Kenki spender. On the other hand, we also have another.
Who's gonna spend like 12 minutes watching this video, 15 minutes watching this video instead of just reading some tooltips?
Another very special one, namely Hisatsu Kaiten, that increases the potency of your next weapon skill by 50%. To make things short, Kaiten only provides an advantage over your general Kenki spender Hisatsu Shinten, being in 320 potency OGCD, when using it for Midare Setsugeka, Higanbana or Tenka Goten in AoE situations. These are the attacks that will spend your sen coins. Setsugeka.
I mean, having stuff read to you is fine and all, but like the way he's explaining it is just so convoluted, I feel like. Like, if I didn't know Samurai already, I would be so confused right now. If I didn't know how to play Samurai already, I would be so fucking confused. Holy shit.
Requiring all 3 different tokens, Goten needing 2 different ones, and Higanbana only with 1 coin. And since Shadowbringers in every 60 seconds, you can mirror one of these attacks in a stronger version, through the use of Tsubame Geshi, where your whole rotation and loop is evolving around, because it just grants you an additional and free sen spender attack with the strongest value at the 3 sen coins with Midare, or in AoE situations with Goten at 2 cents.
It bothers me that he calls them coins because they're just sen. They're just sen. You know, they're not sen coins, they're just sen, right?
So if you are near to reaching 3 cents, keep some Kenki for Kaiten, and if you are near to overcapping or having Ikishoten coming up next, use your Shinten. In both cases, if Sine or Guren are coming up, save the required 50 Kenki to use them as soon as possible, and optimally combine.
The thing is, like, if you do your rotation right, then you should never really have to save Kenki for them, because you should have the 50 gauge giver coming up. It should line up every time anyway. Except, like, there are a few exceptions, I think, based on, like, I think for certain fights there are exceptions, because you're delaying. If you have to delay Guren, or whatever it's called, for buff alignment, it makes sense, but I don't know.
Combined with some raid buffs. Okay, these were the big sellers.
Yeah, just because of downtime, but there's not that many fights that have downtime, where you're not going to just hit Guren on cooldown anyway. I think the only one I can think of is no, Ifrit-Garuda, you should just yeah, actually Ifrit-Garuda you can delay it. Yeah, I forgot. It depends how you do your buff alignment. Shiva? I don't think Shiva, because I believe, I'm pretty sure in Shiva, by the time the boss comes back after Az, you should have everything off cooldown. Like, you should have Guren and your gauge giver off cooldown. Like, they might be flipped where you use Guren before you get your gauge back, but like otherwise they're basically around the same time.
So let us come to the utility kit the samurai has to offer. Remember that the samurai himself is the only one profiting from these tools. there's no support to others, like we know it from the Black Mage already. Starting with Third Eye, this reduces the incoming damage of the next attack hitting you by 10%.
Their only utility,
while
Third Eye,
also
let's go!
granting access to Hisatsu Saigan that is a small DPS advantage over Hisatsu Shinten. So with that idea, Square enforces us samurais to help ourselves against raid busters etc, even when being completely DPS oriented.
Yeah,
Another thing is the NP
but they're
combo,
basically lined up.
started by Hisatsu Yaten, a back jump ability
Wait, how is
useful to
Yaten
dodge some
utility?
close quarter
I guess it's other
AoEs or
stuff.
other stuff emerging from the enemy's hitbox. This also grants access to enhanced NP, which is your ranged attack normally, and with its enhanced version it deals more damage and grants some Kenki. The problem with this, it's definitely a DPS loss, compared to using your GCD for any other weapon skill.
Isn't NP... I thought Yaten NP was a gain on the single GCD filler. I might be wrong, but I thought the best single GCD filler was Yaten NP. Okay, well he just called it a loss. That feels
Granting
bad.
Sen or the ingredient for it, so each time you can also run while your recast timer is cooling down, do so. If you, like me, love the attack and favor style over personal DPS, head for Yaten and MP, followed by Hisatsu Gyoten. That is your gap closer, costing 10 Kenki,
I thought you don't gap closer.
which is also a DPS loss towards Shinten. If you're a DPS fanatic, just avoid this combo as much as possible. But if you want to wield your blade with wisdom and grace, slide in and out like a true master samurai.
What? Alright, so he's saying don't use the combo if you want to do DPS, but if you want to have wisdom and grace, then you should Yaten NP gap closer. Okay. What? What do you mean?
Okay, some unique tools that work together with our rotation. Maikyo Shisui. This may be the most important of them, granting you immediate access to
Maikyo
any
is very
combo
important.
follow-up ability, which means you can directly use your buff attacks, or in the best case, because having the most prerequisites to use them, head for the combo finishers Gecko or Kasha. On the other hand, Yukikase should be avoided for Maikyo, because it's a direct follow-up of Hakase, so in theory choosing Kasha and Gecko for Maikyo stacks will result in DPS gain.
So my understanding is that if you are using Maikyo for Higanbana, then you should Maikyo Yukikaze Higanbana. But if you're using it for a Madare, then it's better to Maikyo the other two, is my understanding. Because it doesn't really matter which one you choose for Higanbana, and Yukikaze by itself is the biggest DPS gain because its lower potency is compensated for by the higher Kenki, I believe. But he doesn't say that. I don't know.
To make that possible, you can time Maikyo right in between Midaro or Higanbana. That means if you are already in possession of one or none either, use Maikyo for either Gecko or Kasha. Use them instantly for one Sen spender, and follow on Kasha and Gecko again afterwards. Your Sen spenders won't interrupt
Gecko, Higan, Hakaze, Yuki, Maikyo, Kiko, Kasha, Twix, Madare. No, I know that. No, I know how to. I know the basic loop. But I'm saying in the case that you have to freestyle, depending on the fight, and you have to Maikyo your, you have to Maikyo your Higanbana. I'm pretty sure it's better to use Yukikaze for Higanbana. I'm like pretty sure if you're freestyling. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
that cycle. If you cannot manage to do so, just head for Yukikase instead of constantly delaying Midara outbursts for perfect Maikyo placements. It's all that in-detail fine-tuning that you will get used to over time.
You're not going to get used to in-detail fine-tuning unless someone teaches you how to do it. Not with Samurai.
Next one, being our number one mechanic in Stormblood, Hagakure, just remains as an emergency
Oh, Stormblood. I thought he said his number one mechanic is Shadowbringers. I just got very confused. The Stormblood. Yeah, makes
exit
sense.
to rotational mistakes, or if you want to reach some specific Sen
Wait, what? Did he just say Hagakure is used to fix rotational mistakes? Wait.
as an emergency exit to rotational mistakes, or if you want to reach some specific Sen combinations before an upcoming pull. That means it deletes each of your Sen coins
Not
for
like
some
this.
Kenki. That
Not
doesn't
like
pay
this.
out like it did in Stormblood. That is why I don't use it much often.
He doesn't use it often. You have to use it every minute. You want to use it every minute on your loop? I guess he doesn't have to. If he's saying he wants to do the one GCD filler, then you don't have to because you do Yaten and NP for your filler. You don't Hagakure anything in that rotation. I guess.
Shoha, being another OGCD attack that is received through each use of Sen Spender attacks. releasing its 400 potency at 3 stacks. Try to use it before doing another Sense Spender attack, and of course in between weapon skills to not delay GCDs.
Hagakure removes any sen you have and gives you 10 Kenki per sen.
Nice to have it fitting into our rotation since 5.1. Okay, last but not least, another reworked ability called Meditate. Now it works as an active channeling effect, so that you cannot put it in between weapon skills to fish for stupid Kenki gains or procs or something like that nonsense, like it did before 5.1.
It was stupid.
Just
I
use
agree,
it
it was
straight
really
in
dumb.
any form of boss transition or when you're certainly not able to get any form of uptime on any target. So much so good. Use the last ability to focus a bit until we head into the opener. Remember,
What is this? Sorry, what is this boss fishing in Voidwalker? This poor samurai. Just put the boss here. Oh no, what is this?
that this is only one possible solution and the best result will always come out of
This is not normal mode. This is not normal mode. There's too many towers for normal mode. Look at the towers. There's 8 towers. This is savage. Normal mode has 4 towers, I think. Yeah, this is definitely savage. You can tell based on the number of towers there are.
Remember that this is only one possible solution and the best result will always come out of something you find fitting for yourself. So never see this as the end of your theory crafting, but as the beginning of it.
Oh no. Don't let the random beginner's theory craft. Okay, this is a beginner's guide. You don't let beginner's theory craft. You don't let beginners theory craft. You teach beginners the basics and the known things so they can learn the fundamentals of the job, and then once they're comfortable, they can theory craft, right? Also, I don't know, this is like if you're teaching someone chess and then you just give them all your chess, like you tell them what the chess pieces do. You're like, the horsey goes forward in an L shape. And then like you tell them all the stuff. And they're like, all right, now theory craft like openers and does it do whatever you want? And it's like, okay, I guess. You just theory craft like pawn movement or whatever. I don't know.
Creating a solid foundation to start with. Okay, the first thing we want to reach is getting up our buffs. And I personally prefer the Higanbana opener, because it lines our big double set Sugeka into the perfectly supported raid synergy. May it be trick attack, battle litany or other buffs.
Okay.
So we start with Hakase and Ikishoten and head
Yep.
for the Shifu way, finishing with Kasha for our first Sen.
Yep.
Then we head over to the Jinpu route, starting with Hakase and a potion after it, if you can afford it of course. Get the damage buff, but now comes the whole trick to the opener, that we use since Stormblood. Instead of using Gecko directly, we start with Hisatsu Kaiten to boost our next Higanbana. With that we interrupt our combo without breaking it, applying the powerful dot as early as possible. Then, with good ping right into the cast sequence of Higanbana, weave Hisatsu Sine to start its recast timer early on and continue
Did you say with good ping? Wait, does that have anything to do with Samurai at all?
with Gecko. Now, we want to let our Midara follow as soon as possible, therefore boosting our progress with Meikyo Shizui for the next Yukikase and Kasha. Yes, here you can use
I mean, like, you don't clip... I guess you would clip, what's it called? Gurin? I always forget what the fuck that skill's called.
Yukikasa with Meikyo, because we want
You would clip it because there's a single weave with Higanbana. Yeah. If it's a single weave with Higanbana, you could clip it because you have to cast it.
to have Midara ASAP. The triple Sen prepared, we use Kaiten
Double
onto
Midara.
Midara and let our powerful strikes be doubled
Sene,
through
yeah,
the
Sene.
Tsubame
I mean, like,
Dashi,
you guys know what I mean.
followed
It's
by
a 2-minute
Shoha with
cooldown.
3 stacks, and our last stack of Meikyo for either Kasha or Gecko.
Don't you always want a Gecko there? I mean, I guess you could Kasha it.
Since we want to use our last 12 seconds of our potion's duration cleverly, we head onwards into getting in another Midara. So we build up the required Sen coins and smash in 2 additional Hisatsu Shinten during the aftermath of our double Midara, and finish with the second Midara perfectly in the last seconds of our potion. And now, as we are aiming towards our next Midara usage, here you can either stick to the basics, delay some Sen waves and get
Maverick
rid of
needs to
Sen
follow.
coins through Higanbana, or use filler GCDs to delay your Midara to fit onto Tsubame. Or you could also go the straightforward way, using a small amount of DPS and eventually wasting 1 Shoha stack, but generating a solid loop with much more comfort. Therefore, Right after using the third Midare, we will now always use Hagakure after using the next Yukikase for 1 sen. With its help we can line
Wait, that's the 2 GCD filler. He just said you can do whatever you want pretty much. That's not good.
up any cooldown management perfectly. At the end of the day, it will always be much more important to have good RNG than a flawless execution.
I don't even want him to finish that sentence. I don't even want to let him finish that sentence. Alright.
At the end of the day, it will always be much more important to have good RNG than a flawless execution. Actually, this is the truth for any job you play.
It got worse. It got worse. No.
If you do the basics correctly, of course.
Oh, there you go. If you do the basics correctly. Sorry to say. Wait, what? Wait, he just said it's more important to get good RNG than to do the basics correctly, assuming you do the basics correctly. Isn't that what he just said? Wait.
With its help, we can line up any cooldown management perfectly. At the end of the day, it will always be much more important to have good RNG than a flawless execution. Actually, this is the truth for any job you play. If you do the basics correctly, of course.
He said that it's better to have good RNG than flawless execution, assuming you do the basics. And I guess it depends how you define the basics, but like, the basics account for like literally like 90% of your damage probably. And then like 5% of it's RNG, crit RNG. And then like the other 5% is like uptime stress and all the crap like that. Right? Maybe that's like a little slightly off, but like crit is like definitely only 5 percentile maybe on FF logs, right? Specifically for I don't know, for like ninja at least. It depends on the job, right? Like dancer RNG accounts for more of your percentile than ninja RNG, right?
Actually, this is the truth for any job you play. If you do the basics correctly, of course. So stick to the solid sen management, don't override your Higanbana too early or use it too late, try to never delay Tsubame more than 5 seconds and make use of
What? He said don't delay Tsubame more than 5 seconds? How about you just don't delay Tsubame at all? 5-second delay in Tsubame is really bad. That's really, really bad. That's so bad. You're immediately shifting it out of buff windows if you do that.
Meikyo Shizui for getting done some fast sen recovery. And of course,
Did you just say Meikyo's for sen recovery?
make use of Meikyo Shizui for getting done some fast sen recovery.
Oh, no.
And of course, try to manage your Kenki with the help of Shinten while holding Ikishoten on cooldown. And use...
Wait, did you say hold Ikishoten? Sorry, I mean
Try to manage your Kenki with the help of Shinten while holding Ikishoten on cooldown.
Oh, keeping it on cooldown. Okay, that's fine.
And use Sine as soon as it's ready. The same goes for Shoha as well.
You're screaming that people do reacting content. I'm just like, dude, it's fucking 3 AM. I have nothing else to do right now. PF is fucking dead. I have nothing else to do. I like watching these videos. It's fun. I'm having a good time.
Okay, that was quite a bunch of Japanese words. If you want more or a more in-depth theory crafting like always, check out the Gritton guide on the balance. Nonetheless, I love to find out stuff by myself, and you should never be limited by strict rules. If you feel much more comfortable with a rotation that deals maybe 100 DPS less,
there is an absolutely 0% chance you're coming up with a rotation that's 100 DPS less. 0% chance you're coming up with a rotation that is 100 DPS less. 0%. 100 is... 100 is a very, very small amount of DPS. If you come up with your own rotation, more likely you're probably doing thousands less.
but you can do mechanics much more delightful, stick to it. RNG will make the deal in favor of one or the other, that it actually doesn't matter much. That mentioned, let us check the dungeon section shortly.
No!
It's very straight.
No! Not RNG, no! Using Yukikaze after a double Madare rather than using MP. You shouldn't be using Yaten MP after double Madare. It should be... It depends what GCD fill you're doing. But you should be doing your filler, which could be Yasha and MP, and then Yukikaze, then Meikyo, then double Madare, and then Gurren again. There's literally no way you're coming up with something that does 100 DPS difference. 100 DPS is not even crit. 100 DPS is literally damage variance, like by itself. Like, you know how like any of your attacks can do like 5% more or less damage? Is it 5%? I think it's 5% more or less damage just based on RNG. Like not even like crit or direct hit. Like that is 100 DPS already. That's it. Just damage variance. Like you're not making your... The only rotation you can make that does within 100 damage of another rotation is like the same fucking rotation. Oh, Stone Sky Sea? Yeah, like, yeah, in Stone Sky Sea, yeah, if you drift things, it doesn't matter in Stone Sky Sea. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think Stone Sky Sea, people don't realize that like drifting things doesn't matter because in a 3-minute window, you only get 3 uses of your Midoriya anyway, and with like 55 seconds of drift that you have as free movement, if that makes sense. Right, you get 3 uses? Yeah, at 0 minutes, 1 minute, and 2 minutes. At 0, 1 minute, 2 minute, you get double Madare. And you don't get one at 3 minutes because it ends at 2:59. So you can literally just like shift your Madara all the way down to 2:55 if you mess up. And like it doesn't change anything because you don't have any buff alignment. Yeah, I guess I don't think he's exactly looking at... I kind of doubt he's looking at Stone Sky Sea. I kind of feel like he just doesn't realize how punishing it is to drift Tsubame.
Straightforward, or at least the content is not that hard, so just stick to
I don't
the
know
2
Black Mage,
cent
so I can't
Smash
look at it.
Brothers and embrace your Kenki.
Wait, what?
Content is not that hard, so just stick to the 2 cent Smash Brothers and embrace your Kenki with Hisatsu Kyoten. And to do that, of course, get your buffs up. Ignore Yukikase here and use your first Kaiten buffed Tenka Goten, doubled with Tsubame. The surplus Kenki above Kaiten boosted Tenkas should be spent for Kyoten as long as you don't mess up the next required Kaiten with it. Oh, and of course, the first overflow of Kenki should be spent for Hisatsu Gurren of course, that is your AoE version of Hisatsu Sine. After your opener and the attainment of your buffs, choose your AoE combo instead with Fuga followed by Mangetsu or Oka, both increasing the
He's just explaining tooltips.
appropriate buff duration by 15 seconds. So if you started your buffs once, try to hold them with these Sen finishers, also granting the white Sen in the case of Mangetsu and the red one with Oka.
He just ran to the
use
bomb
these
AoE.
to reach the 2 Sen coins required for Tenka Goten. That always should be buffed through Kaiten. And that's mainly it. Just stick to these rules in dungeons or more than 2 targets. Okay, Gurren should be used at 2 instead of Sine, but everything else applies at 3 targets or more. All in all, even if my samurai overview...
Wait, at 2 targets? The 2 target rotation, by the way, is Yukikaze. Is you alternate Yukikaze and Gurren and sorry, not Gurren. Yukikaze Jinpu and Yukikaze Shifu. You alternate them back and forth. And then you use Yukikaze to put a peak on Mon every time. That's the 2 target rotation. That's the one you do in T. I'm pretty sure. So,
you may have had a pessimistic undertone. If you manage to get those positionals done brilliantly while sticking to the mechanics, the samurai will perform these insane DPS numbers you may only see from a Black Mage or Super Saiyan monks going crazy. But trust me, the effort and practice
if a monk is doing as much damage as you in a Black Mage, as much damage as you as a samurai, I feel like you messed up as a samurai.
they need to get there is way higher than studying the blade and being awesome with it. Like always, I hope that I could provide a solid overview and foundation to start with, and if you liked this video, leave a like, subscribe to this channel.
Okay. So... Oh no. Where's the guide? There is one thing you need to know to play Samurai. There is absolutely only one single thing you need to know how to play Samurai. Where the fuck is it? It's in here somewhere. For most, like, ignoring Shiva and stuff like that, there is one thing you need to know how to play Samurai. Where's the cheat sheet? It's in here somewhere for sure, right? I read this guy. Oh, here it is. Where's the image? Oh, there it is. Okay. This is the only thing you need to know how to play Samurai. This 16-minute video should be replaced with you reading your tooltips and then looking at this picture. This teaches you everything you need to know about samurai. It's the opener, and then you do 2 Madares, and then you do your filler, and then you do this, like, you reapply Higanbana with double Tsubame. And that's it. And then you start over. That's all you have to do. This cheat sheet is like one of the greatest things ever created in terms of teaching people how to play, I feel. And I actually cannot go over the fact that he said RNG is more important than doing your rotation flawlessly. Making a mistake on Samurai is extremely punishing. Probably more punishing than a lot of jobs. I actually can't believe he just said you need to get good RNG. The video was kind of going okay until then. But I cannot stress how much... I cannot stress... I mean, okay, crit RNG is more than 100 DPS for sure. Crit RNG is definitely more than 100 DPS. But I cannot stress how important it is to do all the fundamentals correctly. Because crit RNG is way less impactful than any of that. The guide said you can drift Tsubame by up to 5 seconds every time. That's what the guide said. So, yeah.
Let us return to
What's this guy's IGN?
Higanbana or Tenka Go.
He's not showing his character name. Oh, the doc guide? It says you should never drift Tsubame. The doc guide says to never drift Tsubame, I think. I don't remember where it is, but it says to never drift it. Yeah. Ad hoc Samurai says don't let Meikyo and Tsubame drift. That's it, right? This guide's actually really good if you really want to learn Samurai in depth. This guy's actually very, very well made. It basically explains all the minutia of Samurai that you don't understand solely from tooltips, like the filler combos and stuff like that. It's very, very well made. Desperia abandoned. Ugh. Hey, man. It's pretty good parses. Not bad. This actually isn't bad. Let's go! Puppet's Bunker, yes! You, what a fucking gamer. Holy shit. Median 99 percentile. It's pretty fucking good. Honestly, I was expecting worse. Someone who tells you that doing your rotation is less important than getting good crits, I feel like I would not expect them to be orange at all. I would seriously expect a green gamer. I would seriously expect a green, maybe blue gamer at tops. I'm actually surprised. This though, like maybe he's ungeared. Honestly, maybe his gear is bad. Just kidding. I mean, his gear's not great, right? He doesn't have BIS, but he does have all 500. Dude, it's too late for me to watch the Black Mage video. I'm so tired. I have work in like 6 hours. It's like way too late for me right now. If there's one thing that I can teach you guys, learn the fucking fundamentals of your job. Learn your rotation, hit a training dummy for a few hours. Yeah, hours. Except, not healer, obviously, because healer's stupid, but like, literally hit the training dummy until you can do your rotation from muscle memory. Definitely your opener and then your rotation until your rotation loops, right? Samurai has a 1 minute loop, so you should be able to just do that 1 minute loop over and over and over and over again. Do it perfectly for 10 minutes in a row. That's how you learn how to play a job. That's how you learn. Like for Ninja, it's a 2 minute loop. Do that 2 minute loop for 10 minutes straight. Don't mess up anything. Stone Sky C is okay, but the 3 minute limit doesn't exactly work Yeah, trying the opener is good, but I think just hitting a train dummy for minutes at a time is really useful. Like Dark Knight, right? Dark Knight's on a 6-minute loop, I think, because that's when Living Shadow and Blood Weapon, that's when Living Shadow and Delirium realign. Is that 6 minutes? Let's do it for 12 minutes. Same rotation twice. Dancer, 2-minute loop. Do it twice. If you want to improve the game, just hit a fucking striking dummy. It's just practice. It's just practice if you want to learn how to play the game. It doesn't take that much time. It really doesn't. Like 30 minutes, 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. It's not even that much time. Do it when you're waiting in queue for Expert Roulette. We all know that if you queue as a DPS for Expert Roulette, you're going to be waiting for 10 fucking minutes. Hit that striking dummy for 10 minutes while you're waiting. You're probably not doing anything else anyway, right? And then like read the guide and then practice. Obviously you have to read the guide. You can't just practice without knowing stuff, right? But you go through the balance, find your opener, find your rotation, and just hit a striking dummy and start learning. Worst case, record your rotation on the dummy and send it to a balance mentor. Yeah, I know the balance mentors aren't great, but find someone you trust to be good, like a top player, and send them like your rotation, like a video of your rotation. That's like the easiest way. I feel like the easiest way to improve is like for someone good to look at your rotation on like a training dummy or in a real fight. You can use it 10 minutes standing around Limsa. Lovely. I talked to Frosty. It was just logistical stuff about 5.4. I think we'll get more news as it gets closer to 5.4. Send it to Sir Lags-a-Lot. Dude, what do you think Sir Lags-a-Lot would think about this video? I feel like he would cry. I don't know who Ito or Valley are, but... Does he mean Valley Sitter? I know Valley. Like the Lost Impression Valley? I know him. It's called Skill Display, Daria. It's called Skill Display. It was a meeting, not an interview. It was more like a meeting where we talked about what we want to do for 5.4. Is meeting the right word? Meeting? Yeah, it was like me, Frosty, some other top raider people to talk about like our plan, like how we want to stream 5.4 and like make an event out of it. Like you'll get more information over time, so yeah. I don't know, 74 percentile is not bad. I don't know, I don't want to judge him for like maybe he just didn't like isn't playing the game right now, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I was a panelist on a show a while ago, but not recently. Although maybe in the future I'll be back, but yeah, this guy is super good. I don't know, man. Practice. It's all about practice. Unless you're playing healer, right? Unless you're playing healer. If you're playing healer, it's about, like, you have to go into fights to really think about using your tools and all that other garbage. But, like, practice on striking dummy. Watch good players. Another way to get good is to watch good players. Watch top players, like their VODs, and see, like, how they do their rotation and what they're doing. 90% of your damage is just good fundamentals. Alright. I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. You watch me. Well, he's not only watching, right? It's also practice and other stuff. But yeah. You can't stand the name? Is that too any of you? It's pretty American. It's pretty K-Kona. Pretty K-Kona of you. Alright, I'm gonna host Gerald. I'm going to sleep. So before I end real quick, if you enjoy like raid content or like my reaction content, I guess, follow me here